So I'm from the west coast of the United States, a little town called Monterey, California. Was born and raised there till I was 17 years old. I had two amazing, loving, wonderful parents. However, when I was young, they split up, 4 or 5 years old. We'd go visit my dad on the weekends, me and my older brother, and we were raised mostly by my mom in those early years. She was an amazing woman. Instilled really good values in us. She was a hard worker. She was a bank teller. She would do everything she could to raise us the right way. However, not having the father figure around in those early years, we got into quite a bit of trouble. I remember being 7, 8 years old, going to stores, stealing stuff, and getting into all kinds of mischief. When I was 11, she met my stepdad, and we moved in with him. And I remember at that time, I was still going through a lot of things growing up, 11 years old, confusing time, and I met some kids in a park, and they were smoking weed, and I started smoking it with them, and then getting all my friends involved in that, and then one thing led to another, drinking and different things. And as I grew up and started playing sports and getting involved with different friends and the group that I was around, we kind of would egg each other on to do more and to bigger things and worse things. And in all those things, I never felt bad about it. I actually felt good. Actually, I felt like I was earning my stripes and earning respect from my friends and the people I was around. There was no remorse for any of the things that I was doing. It was like the more I did it, the more respect I gained. And it came to the point of when I was 17 years old, I got arrested for evading police and public intoxication. And I was supposed to get sentenced, but they let me off because I was going to school to play football, and it was amazing. And when I went to school, I met a young woman who's now been my wife for 15 years, and she started to tell me about church and tell me about Jesus and all these things. And I just thought, that's great for you. I was never raised in the church. I never went to church. I don't know any kids' church songs. I don't know what Sunday school is. I don't know anything. And she started telling me about these things. And I was like, that's a great little religious thing that you're doing. That's wonderful, But for me, it's not for me. I'm not a religious person. And I remember as school went on, I took a theology class, and we went to this mega church in LA. And in that church, I just thought, man, if I'm going to go to church, I'm going to go to this church because they have coffee bar and they got all bookstores and comfortable chairs. It looks awesome. So I started going there, partying on Saturdays and hungover, going to church on Sundays. I remember I went forward probably 20, 30 times for the sinner's prayer, and I would go forward, I'd feel encouraged, and I would go sit back down and enjoy the rest of the service or whatever it was, but nothing changed in me. And then I was driving in my car one day, and I remember crying out to God and saying, God, I'm so sick of going to church and partying, and what is this? I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be hypocritical. And I remember crying out to God and saying, God, if you are actually real, put a faith in my heart to believe in you. And I remember I was in tears. I was broken. I said, Lord, please forgive me, Jesus. And somewhere the Lord in that moment put a tiniest mustard seed of faith in my heart to believe in him. And the Lord, I knew the moment that Lord had saved me, and Jesus Christ had paid the price for my sins. And from that point on, even as I went forward, I still would try to party, but then I would feel this conviction, like that's not for you. And slowly the Lord set me free from one thing, from the drinking, from the smoking, from all these things. He set me free. And I'm so grateful for the forgiveness and the grace and the calling of God. He had his moment, he had his time for me, where he reached down and touched my life.